Can the Arab Spring overseas help fuel political engagement of young Arabs here in the United States? Hello, everyone, and welcome to Own the Vote. I'm Robert Tranum, and I'm joined by Omar Tewfik from the Arab American Institute. Omar, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
So what we saw about a year ago on our television screens was unbelievable. Tens of thousands, one could make the argument hundreds of thousands or millions of individuals that were screaming and demanding that their rights and that their voices be heard, and lo and behold, guess what happened? Can that type of revolutionary behavior, outcome, be mirrored here in the United States when it comes to Arab Americans?
Yeah. Well, I don't necessarily know that the stakes are so high here as they were, but I think that the uprisings certainly did inspire a group of young Arab Americans here to make their voices heard and to not take their vote for granted. We have parents and we have relatives that still live there, and parents that came not too long ago. We know that they have not been able to participate in the political process, and so we don't take our votes for granted, and that's what it's about.
You know, it's interesting, Omar, because I see this as a teaching moment. I see this as a coming-of-age moment where literally and figuratively the baton has been passed from one generation to the next. And this current generation, our generation, are saying our voices need to be heard. We need to vote by ballots and not by bullets, and we need to make sure that we hold our elected officials accountable. Is that how you see this?
Yeah, I mean, I do. I definitely see that Arab Americans particularly have become more engaged in the political process.
Why is that?
Well, I think that for this community, the stakes are pretty high. I mean, if you look at some of the things that have transpired in the past few months, you have training manuals that the FBI was using, for instance, that kind of grossly misrepresented Arab Americans and American Muslims, for instance. So there are certain things that need to be done in the way of social change, but also in the way of political change. And so, yes, of course, we need to hold people accountable for those sort of
Omar,
things.
you mentioned a few moments ago the FBI thing, and I want to talk about that a little bit. And I would say after 9/11, there has been or was a lack of sensitivity, if you will, that Americans don't necessarily look like a certain stereotype that we're used to, that Americans come in all shapes and all sizes and all colors. Walk us through specifically what you're doing to try to raise the awareness level with all Americans by saying, you know what, we're not just one group of people, we're a melting pot.
Well, first of all, Arab Americans have been here for a very long time. So the kind of misconception or the misperception that Arab Americans are a new immigrant group is false. Arab Americans have contributed in many ways to American society, and they represent a lot of the issues and bring voice to the issues that are important to this country. So I think that what we're doing that lends a voice to that sort of thing is getting younger people involved and talking about the issues. There's a generation of people here in the United States, Americans that are outside the Arab American community, that are interested in what we have to say about things, and it's our imperative to go ahead and be that bridge and talk about these specific important issues.
Omar, walk us through what the Yellow Vote is specifically.
Right. Yellow Vote essentially was started in 1998, and it's the cornerstone of Arab American political participation. So 30 years ago, Arab Americans were not even a voting constituency that identified as Arab American. You had Syrian Americans, you had Lebanese Americans, and people from different Arab backgrounds. But what the Yellow Vote campaign did was help to bring people under an umbrella sort of campaign to engage in the political process. So we do get out the vote efforts. It's adopted by countless communities throughout the United States. We work with some of our national partners, NAC, the National Network for Arab American Communities, to get out the vote. And so that's the driving vehicle of Arab American political.
And you are targeting 11 states, for example, California, Florida, Illinois, Michigan, Massachusetts, New Jersey, and so forth. Why those states and others?
Well, those states happen to be where the largest population of Arab Americans are. And so those are the states that we think, would best yield results for our community. And also, there are certain specific state issues that we'd like to focus on. In New York, for instance, you have the NYPD, the revelations that the Associated Press brought about surveillance of the Arab American community, and so this was a big issue for us.
You know, I know you're a nonpartisan organization, and I don't want to name labels per se, but I want to talk for a few moments about the Republican and Democratic Party in terms of just their overall outreach to the Arab community. Would you say A+, B-, C+, C-, just in terms of the effort to talk to the community in a language that everyone can understand in that community, but also just as importantly on the issues that are important to the community?
Well, the White House, this administration has reached out. We have yet to have an Arab American meeting with the president. Just last week, or 2 weeks ago, we met with, some of our leaders met with Vice President Biden, but that was not a specifically Arab American meeting. We reached out to the Romney campaign and tried to engage them in Michigan, for instance. We were unable to set up a meeting. So on the Republican side of things, we still have, it's kind of an uphill battle. This administration has not been as good as we would like them to be, but we have been at the table. We do have a place at the table.
Omar, last question for you. In your lifetime, in our lifetime, can you see an Arab American president, elected president of the United States? 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now?
It may take a little bit longer than that, but I think that what's happening right now is there is more awareness about Arab Americans and their role in this society. And so I think that, you know, somewhere down the line we might be able to see that, but maybe not necessarily in our lifetime. Maybe towards the end of that, hopefully.
All right, Omar Tewfik, thank you very much for joining us. Really appreciate it. And of course, thank you for joining us for this edition of On the Vote. I'm Robert Tranum. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you next time. Take care.